Welcome to the lecture on chirality of biphenyls, spirenes, and allenes. In the earlier modules, we have seen that for a molecule to be chiral, the presence of asymmetric carbon is not a must. It is enough if the molecule lacks plane of symmetry, inversion center, and improper axis of rotation. With the absence of these three symmetry elements, the molecule is called a disymmetric. The disymmetric molecules are chiral. And even if the fourth symmetry element, proper axis of rotation, also is absent, then the molecule is called asymmetric, and such molecules are also chiral. In this module, we are going to discuss about the properly substituted biphenyls, allenes, and spirenes, which are chiral in spite of the absence of an asymmetric carbon. Here is the simplest biphenyl, and here we find the two rings are coplanar. When these two rings are coplanar, there will be repulsion between the two hydrogens, and in order to escape from this repulsion, one of the two rings undergoes rotation about this carbon-carbon single bond, and one ring goes perpendicular to the plane of the other ring. So among these two structures, the coplanar conformation is less stable due to the repulsion between the orthohydrogens, and the other conformation is little more stable since the repulsion between the hydrogens has been removed. When we replace the orthohydrogens of the two phenyl rings by bulky groups, because of the repulsion between the bulky groups, the two phenyl rings cannot remain coplanar. So one ring undergoes rotation about this pivotal bond and becomes perpendicular to the other ring. Now, if you look at the structures of X and Y, they are mirror images. They are enantiomers. Just by mere rotation about this carbon-carbon single bond, we can imagine like X can be converted into Y. But in reality, the rotation about this carbon-carbon single bond is prevented due to the steric repulsion between the bulky groups present in the ortho position. Hence, the enantiomers X and Y cannot be interconverted. They remain as separate chemical species. So this kind of stereoisomers, this kind of enantiomers like X and Y, which are existing as separate chemical species due to the restricted rotation about this carbon-carbon single bond, are called atropisomers. For the biphenyls to be chiral, the biphenyl molecule should fulfill two conditions. Number one is there should be absence of vertical plane of symmetry in both the rings. To avoid having vertical plane of symmetry, there should be two different groups in the ortho positions of each ring. Number two, the size of the substituents in the ortho position should be sufficiently large so that the rotation about the carbon-carbon single bond, the rotation about this pivotal bond can be prevented. Suppose if you have a hydrogen or fluorine or a methoxy group in the ortho position, then due to the smaller size of the groups, the free rotation will take place and the biphenyl cannot be chiral. If you look at this biphenyl, there are two bulky groups in the ortho position which will prevent the rotation about this pivotal bond. So this molecule fulfills both the conditions. Both the rings are not having vertical plane, and due to the bulkiness of the ortho groups, the rotation is prevented. So this biphenyl is chiral. If you look at this molecule also, in both the ortho positions there are two different groups. Therefore there is no vertical planar symmetry, and due to the bulkiness of these groups, the rotation is prevented. Now here the third molecule, if you look at, the two ortho groups are similar. So we can think of having a vertical plane of symmetry, but due to the presence of a nitrogen in one side of the ring alone, there is lack of vertical plane of symmetry in both the rings. So although the groups present in the ortho position are the same, due to the lack of vertical plane of symmetry in both the rings, the molecule is chiral. So the vertical plane of symmetry is absent in both the rings, and the ortho substituents are also bulky enough to prevent the rotation about carbon-carbon single bond. Therefore, this molecule also is chiral. And similar to this case, this molecule also has similar groups in the ortho position, but the presence of one bromine in one side of the phenyl ring alone prevents the phenyl ring from having a plane of vertical plane of symmetry. So both the rings are not having vertical plane of symmetry. The bulky groups present in the ortho positions prevent the rotation about the carbon-carbon single bond, the pivotal bond. Therefore, these molecules are also chiral in spite of the presence of similar groups in the ortho positions. Here are some biphenyls for us to examine their chirality. So this biphenyl has two different groups in the ortho position in both the rings. Therefore, both the rings are not having vertical plane of symmetry, and the groups in the ortho position are also bulky enough to prevent the rotation about this carbon-carbon single bond. Therefore, the vertical plane of symmetry is absent in both the rings. The rotation about the single bond is prevented. Therefore, this molecule is chiral. And regarding this molecule, although there are two chlorine atoms in both the ortho positions, this ring does not have a vertical plane, since in one side of the ring we have a methyl group, and the other ring has two different groups in the ortho positions. Therefore, both the rings are not having vertical plane of symmetry, and the groups present in the ortho positions are bulky enough to prevent the rotation about this carbon-carbon single bond, the pivotal bond. Therefore, this biphenyl is fulfilling both the conditions, and hence this is also chiral. Here, the two rings are, the ortho positions of the two rings are bridged by a group here, which is also preventing the rotation about carbon-carbon single bond, and both the rings are not having vertical planes. Therefore, this is also chiral. And in this case, in one ortho position we have hydrogen only, but still in the other side we have a very bulky group, the sulfonic acid group, and it is bigger enough to repel the hydrogen to keep one ring perpendicular to this one. So this one group itself, the one substituent in both the rings itself, is sufficient to prevent the rotation about the carbon-carbon single bond, and both the rings do not have vertical planes. Therefore, this is also chiral. And here, just like the sulfonic acid group, we have a tertiary butyl here, a hydrogen here. Here we have a tertiary butyl and hydrogen. So tertiary butyl group is bulky enough to repel with this hydrogen and to keep the two rings perpendicular to one another and to prevent the rotation about the carbon-carbon single bond. So the two conditions, vertical plane of symmetry in both the rings are absent, and the groups present in the ortho positions are different, and they are bulky enough to prevent the rotation about the pivotal bond. Therefore, these two molecules are also chiral. Coming to this molecule, both the rings are not having vertical plane, since in one side of the ring we have methyl and in one side here we have methyl. Therefore, the two rings are not having vertical planes, but the ortho positions are having only hydrogen atoms. Since only hydrogen atoms are present here, the free rotation is possible. Since free rotation is possible, the molecule cannot be chiral. So this biphenyl is a chiral molecule, although the vertical plane of symmetry is absent in both the rings. And in this biphenyl, both the phenyl rings are having the vertical planes. So here in both the sides we have the same substituent. Therefore, this ring has got a plane of symmetry, and this ring also has got a plane of symmetry, since the substituents are the same on both the sides. And here we have, in one ring there are different substituents, but in the other ring there are similar substituents on both the sides, As a result, this ring has got a vertical plane of symmetry. According to the conditions for chirality of biphenyl, both the rings should not have vertical planes, but here this ring has a vertical plane of symmetry. Therefore, this molecule is also achiral. So, from all our discussions, you can understand that when both the ortho groups are only hydrogens, there is a free rotation possible about this carbon-carbon single bond. When these orthohydrogens are replaced by bulky substituents, then the rotation about this pivotal bond is prevented. And when you are substituting the orthohydrogens by bulky groups, see to that the two groups in the ortho positions of the same ring are different, so that both the rings will not have vertical planes of symmetry and the rotation about the carbon-carbon single bond will be prevented, and hence the molecule will be chiral. In this particular case, you can see both the ortho positions are substituted by the groups A and B, different groups. Therefore, both the rings are not having vertical planes. Rotation about this single bond is prevented. And a very similar case you can see here. There are bulky groups, different groups in the ortho positions. Therefore, this molecule is chiral. I have given two examples here. In both the biphenyls, I have replaced only one of the two orthohydrogens by a different substituent. Here I have replaced one orthohydrogen by chlorine in both the rings, and in this case I have replaced one hydrogen by the sulfonic acid group. Here, this substituent chlorine is not large enough to prevent the rotation about this carbon-carbon single bond, and hence there is rotation possible about this single bond. So this molecule is achiral. Whereas here the sulfonic acid group is large enough to prevent the rotation. Therefore, the two rings are perpendicular to one another. Both the rings are not having vertical planes of symmetry. Therefore, this molecule is chiral. Therefore, when you are replacing the hydrogen atoms, and you should see to that the substituent is large enough to prevent the rotation about this pivotal bond. The properly substituted biphenyls are chiral, and this is a chiral biphenyl, and we should know to assign the absolute configurations for the chiral biphenyls. In assigning configuration for biphenyl, as the first step we have to draw the cross lines, and then we should decide from where we are going to view this molecule. Now I am weaving this molecule by standing near this vertical ring. If I am weaving the molecule from here by standing near this vertical ring, I have the NO2 group at my head side, COOH at my leg side. So this head side and leg side groups I have to put at the top and bottom of the vertical line. So NO2 I am placing in the top, COOH I am placing it in the bottom or leg side of the vertical line. And when I am weaving the molecule by standing here, the COOH in the horizontal plane, horizontal ring is at my left, NO2 is at my right. Therefore, I should place these two groups in the horizontal line, and COOH should be at the left, NO2 at the right. And after placing all these groups, we should assign priority numbers for these groups. While assigning priority numbers, here we have to follow a different procedure. That is, if I am weaving the molecule by standing near the vertical ring, then I have to assign priority numbers for the vertical groups first. And just to make the process easy, not to get confused, if I am standing near the vertical ring, I will thicken the vertical line, and the horizontal line I will put as normal line. So if I am standing near the vertical ring, for the vertical line I should thicken the vertical line, and the horizontal line should be normal, and the groups should be placed as I have instructed now. And for the groups present in the thick line, we have to assign the sequence numbers. the priority numbers. So here the atom that is directly connected to this point is nitrogen, and here we have carbon. So nitrogen gets higher priority over carbon. So priority number 1 for nitrogen, priority number 2 for carbon. So we are taking into account the two groups present in the thick line only. After assigning priority numbers for these groups only, we should move to the next line. And we should now give numbers 3 and 4 for the other two groups. So the two groups present in the horizontal lines are NO2 and COOH. So here we have nitrogen and here carbon. So nitrogen should be given higher priority over this carbon. Therefore this nitrogen is given number 3, this carbon is given number 4. Now read the numbers from 1 to 3. You are traveling in the anti-clockwise direction. Therefore the configuration of this biphenyl is S. Now let us assume I am weaving the molecule by standing near the horizontal ring. If I am standing near the horizontal ring, the horizontal line, that means I should assign priority numbers for the horizontal groups first and then to the vertical groups. Therefore, if I am weaving the molecule by standing near the horizontal ring, I will be having the COOH at my right side and the NO2 at my left side. So the two groups in the horizontal ring should be kept in the horizontal line. COOH is at my right, NO2 is at my left. So COOH is placed at right, NO2 is placed at left. Now the groups in the vertical ring should be kept at the top and bottom. That is what we have done. So since I am weaving the molecule by standing near the horizontal ring, I am thickening the horizontal line. So what for I am thickening? I have to remember that the groups present, since I am standing near the horizontal ring, the groups in the horizontal ring should be given higher priority over the groups present in the vertical ring. That means I have to assign priority numbers first for the groups present in the horizontal line and then for the groups present in the vertical line. Therefore, if you are weaving the molecule by standing near the vertical ring, give higher priority for the groups present in the vertical line. If you are weaving the molecule by standing near the horizontal ring, give higher priority for the groups present in the horizontal line of these cross lines. Just not to get confused only, I am telling you to thicken the horizontal line in case if you are weaving from here, to thicken the vertical line in case if you are weaving from here, so that you can assign priority numbers for the groups present in the thick line first and then for the normal line. Therefore now you just look at the configuration here. There is COOH at the right, NO2 at the left, NO2 at the top here, COOH at the left side. Now since I am standing near the horizontal ring, the priority should be given for the groups present in the horizontal line. So we have to give numbers first for the groups in the horizontal line. So for nitrogen 1, carbon 2, and then we should give 3, 4 for the groups present in the vertical line. So N gets 3, carbon gets 4. Read numbers from 1 to 3. We go in the anti-clockwise direction. Therefore, this molecule, whether I am weaving from here or from here, I am getting the same configuration. Yes. Here I have taken two biphenyls, which are the enantiomers. These are not interconvertible due to the restricted rotation about this carbon-carbon single bond. Because of the presence of the bulky group in the ortho position, the rotation about this pivotal bond is prevented. And hence these enantiomers are not interconvertible, and these are the enantiomers, and these are examples for atropisomers. Now let us assign the RS configuration for these two enantiomers. Now first of all we shall do for this biphenyl. Now I am weaving the molecule by standing near this vertical ring. So first of all I have to draw the cross lines. Since I am standing near this vertical ring, I am thickening the vertical line, and the vertical ring has SO3H at the top, hydrogen at the bottom. So I am putting them in the head side and leg side respectively. And when I weave the molecule from here, this hydrogen is at my left and this SO3H is at my right. So hydrogen at my left and SO3H at my right in the horizontal line I have placed. Since I am standing near this vertical ring, the groups present in the vertical line should be assigned sequence numbers first, priority numbers first. So not to get confused, I have thickened this line. So I am assigning priority numbers first for the thick line, the groups present in the thick line. So sulfur gets priority number 1, hydrogen gets 2. So only after assigning the priority numbers for the groups present in the vertical line, you should go to the horizontal groups. Whatever may be the groups present in the lines, we should not bother. Since we are weaving the molecule by standing near the vertical ring, we have to assign priorities first for the groups present in the vertical line. Only after assigning priority numbers for the groups present in the vertical line, we should move to the horizontal line. We should never get confused that here is a hydrogen and here is sulfur. It's not like that. So any group present in the vertical line, since we are standing near the vertical ring, we have to assign sequence numbers or priority numbers first for the groups present in the vertical line. So 1, 2, then we go for the groups present in the horizontal line. 3, sulfur gets priority over hydrogen, so 3, 4. Now if you read the numbers from 1 to 3, you are going in the anticlockwise direction, therefore this biphenyl has S configuration. Now let us see what happens when we weave the molecule by standing near the horizontal ring. So first of all you draw the cross lines. Since we are weaving the molecule by standing near the horizontal ring, the horizontal line should be thickened. It should be thickened. So the groups present in the horizontal line should be assigned priority numbers first, and then we should move to the vertical groups in the vertical line. Therefore, I am weaving the molecule by standing here. Hydrogen is at my right now, SO3 is at my left. So these two groups I should put in the horizontal line. Hydrogen at the left. When you stand here, when you weave the molecule from here, so hydrogen will be at your right, SO3H will be at your left. So hydrogen at the right, SO3H at the left. So we have placed these groups of the horizontal ring in the horizontal line. Now the vertical ring has sulfonic acid group at the top, hydrogen at the bottom. You just put them as they are in the vertical line. Now since you are weaving by standing near this ring, you are standing here to weave the molecule. That is why hydrogen is at your right. Since we are standing near the horizontal ring, we should assign sequence numbers for the groups present in the horizontal line first. So in order to avoid confusion, I have thickened the horizontal line first, since I am standing near the horizontal ring. So the groups present in the horizontal line are assigned priority numbers first. So here sulfur gets higher priority 1 and then hydrogen 2. After assigning priority numbers for the horizontal groups in the horizontal line, move to the vertical line. So here sulfur gets higher priority over hydrogen 1, 2, 3. When you go from 1 to 3, you are traveling in the anti-clockwise direction, counterclockwise direction. Therefore, this molecule has S configuration. So whether you weave by standing near the vertical ring or from the horizontal ring, the molecule gets S configuration. So only thing you have to be carefully note that when you are weaving from here, the groups present in the horizontal ring will be hydrogen at the left, sulfonic acid at the right. So that is how we have put them here. When you weave from here, when you are standing here to weave the molecule, therefore hydrogen is at your right and sulfonic acid is at the left. So you should be very careful in placing the groups in the horizontal line. Now let us assign the absolute configuration for the enantiomer of this molecule, which uh, can be done by drawing cross lines. So I have drawn cross lines. Now I am standing near this vertical ring to view the molecule. So I am viewing from here. So the two groups in the vertical line, vertical rings are placed in the vertical line, and these groups should be given higher priority over the two groups in the horizontal, since we are standing near the vertical ring. To avoid confusion, as I said earlier, if you are standing near the vertical ring, just thicken the vertical line and then put the groups. And when you view the molecule from here, the two groups in the horizontal rings will be SO3H will be at your left side and hydrogen will be at your right when you are viewing from here. So SO3H at the left, that is kept at the left of the cross lines in the horizontal line, and hydrogen at the right, that is kept at the right side. So after placing these groups, assign priority numbers for the two groups present in the thickened line, thick line. So here sulfur gets priority 1 and hydrogen gets 2. And after assigning sequence numbers for the thick line, you move to the normal line. And here sulfur gets priority over hydrogen, so this gets 3 and 4. Read the numbers 1 from 1 to 3. You are traveling in the clockwise direction. Therefore, this molecule has R configuration. Let us do the same assigning configuration by viewing from here. So now I am standing near this horizontal ring. So draw the cross lines. Since you are standing near the horizontal ring, you thicken the horizontal line. Now when you are viewing the molecule from here, these two groups in the horizontal ring will be SO3H will be at your right, hydrogen will be at your left. You are standing here to look at the molecule. So SO3H at right, hydrogen at left. That is how we have put them in the horizontal line. Since I am standing near the horizontal ring, I have thickened the horizontal line. And the vertical line is normal. The vertical line should contain the two groups present in the vertical ring. So sulfonic acid is at the top, that should be kept at the head side. Hydrogen at the bottom, that should be kept at the leg side. So now, since I am weaving the molecule by standing near the horizontal ring, I should assign sequence numbers first for the groups present in the horizontal line. So to avoid confusion only, I have thickened the line. So assign priority numbers first for the groups present in the thick line. So 1, 2 and then 3, 4. Read numbers from 1 to 3. You are going in the clockwise direction. Therefore this molecule is having R configuration. So the enantiomers have opposite configuration. If this molecule has S configuration, its enantiomer, its mirror image, will have the opposite configuration R. So these two are the biphenyls which cannot be interconverted by rotation about carbon-carbon single bond. Although there is a carbon-carbon single bond, free rotation is prevented due to steric repulsion here. Therefore, this kind of enantiomers are called atropisomers, and the enantiomers have opposite configuration. Here is a biphenyl which has bulky groups in the ortho positions, and the free rotation about this carbon-carbon single bond is prevented by the bridge between the two ortho groups, and hence the two rings cannot have free rotation about this carbon-carbon single bond, and due to the bridge and the presence of bulky groups, these two rings will be perpendicular to one another, and this molecule also is chiral and it is optically active. Just like biphenyls, the properly substituted allenes are also chiral. An allene should have two different groups in both the terminal carbon atoms. So this is one terminal carbon atom of the allene. It has two different groups, And this is another terminal carbon atom that also has two different groups. So when different groups are present in the terminal carbon atoms, that alene is chiral. Suppose if one of the two terminal carbon atoms has similar groups, then there will be a possibility for a plane of symmetry. Now you put a horizontal plane, a plane that is containing the group A and B. If you put a horizontal plane that will bisect the molecule here, there is a plane that goes perpendicular to the screen. There is a plane that contains all the three carbon atoms and it is perpendicular to the screen. Now, and this plane contains this A and B, the horizontal plane. And with respect to this plane, these two A and B are above and below. Therefore, this is above the mirror and this is below the mirror, and hence on both the sides of the mirror you have similar groups, and therefore this molecule has got a plane of symmetry. Remember, the two horizontal groups, they are present. There is a horizontal plane. There is a plane that is perpendicular to the plane of the screen. There is a plane that is containing the three carbon atoms and A and B, these two A and B. So with respect to this mirror plane, this A is above and this A is below. Therefore, this molecule has got a plane of symmetry. Always remember, when there are similar groups present in one of the terminal carbon atoms of the alene, the molecule will have a plane of symmetry. And similar to that, here on both the ends we have similar groups, and there is no doubt this molecule also has got two planes of symmetries. Therefore this molecule also is chiral. So whenever the terminal carbon atoms are having different groups and both the ends, only then the alene becomes chiral. Otherwise, even at one end if you have similar groups, that molecule will be achiral. Now, when there are different groups, it becomes chiral, and we should know to assign the absolute configuration for such a chiral molecule. Let us take this example. An assigning configuration to allenes, chiral allenes, is very similar to assigning configuration for the biphenyls. So, we have to draw the cross lines, and then we should decide from where we are going to look at the molecule. Now I am standing here to look at this molecule. So these two groups are present in the vertical plane and these two groups are present in the horizontal plane, and this hydrogen goes behind the screen and the chlorine comes in front of the screen. So these two groups are present in a horizontal plane. These two are in the horizontal plane and these two groups are present in the vertical plane. I am standing near these vertical groups. So the vertical group should be placed in the vertical line. The groups present in the horizontal plane should be kept in the horizontal lines. Now I am standing here. I am looking at the molecule. So in the vertical plane, I have hydrogen at the top, chlorine at the bottom. So I am placing them in the vertical line. Hydrogen at the head side, top, chlorine at the bottom, the leg side. And when I stand here to look at the molecule, this hydrogen goes to the left side. This hydrogen is at the left side and chlorine is at my right side. So hydrogen left, I am placing in the left side of the horizontal line. Chlorine is at my right, so I am placing it at the right side of the horizontal line. Since I am weaving the molecule by standing near the vertical plane, I have to assign sequence numbers first for the groups present in the vertical line. So as usual, to avoid confusion, I have thickened the vertical line since I am standing near the vertical plane. And the groups in the present in the vertical line, thick line should be assigned priority numbers first. So chlorine 1, hydrogen 2. Then coming to the horizontal line, chlorine gets priority over hydrogen. So 3, 4. Read the numbers from 1 to 3 you go in the clockwise direction. Therefore, this molecule has R configuration. Now suppose if I am viewing the molecule by standing near these horizontal groups, then priorities should be assigned first for the groups present in the horizontal line. So I should thicken the horizontal line to give priority. So this is only not to avoid the confusion. So which group should be given priority? So since I am standing near the horizontal groups, I have to assign priority numbers for the horizontal groups first. Therefore, I am thickening this line to avoid the confusion. So whenever I am assigning sequence numbers, the groups present in the thick line should be assigned priorities first. That is why, since I am standing near the horizontal groups, the horizontal line I have thickened. So now I am viewing the molecule by I am standing here. When I look at the molecule by standing here, this hydrogen goes to my right side and chlorine goes to my left side. So in the horizontal plane, I have hydrogen at my right, chlorine at my left. So hydrogen I have kept at the right side, chlorine at the left side in the horizontal line. And as usual, the vertical plane has hydrogen at the top and chlorine at the bottom, that I have placed in the vertical line. So there will be confusion only in placing the horizontal groups in the horizontal line. So when you are viewing the molecule from here, this hydrogen is at your left. But when you are standing here to view the molecule, hydrogen goes to your right. So when you are standing here to view the molecule, you have to put the hydrogen in the right side of the horizontal line, chlorine at the left side. And then you should assign priorities first for the horizontal group since you are standing near to these groups. So when I view the molecule from here, hydrogen is at my right, chlorine at my left. I have placed them in the horizontal line. Since I am standing near the horizontal groups, I have thickened the horizontal line. Then the vertical groups I am placing as they are. Now the thick line groups have to be assigned priority numbers. Chlorine first gets higher priority over hydrogen. So 1, 2, and here in the then we should go to the vertical line. So chlorine gets 3, hydrogen 4. Read the numbers from 1 to 3. You go in the clockwise direction. Therefore, it gets R configuration. So whether you view the molecule from the vertical plane or from the horizontal plane, you are getting the same configuration. So you should be very careful in placing the groups in the horizontal lines. That depends upon from where you are viewing the molecule. From our discussions, you can understand that for an allene or cumulene to be chiral, it should fulfill certain conditions. What are the conditions? The groups present in the terminal carbon atoms should be different. So allene should be properly substituted. So properly substituted means the terminal carbon atoms of the cumulene should have different groups. And the condition number 2, another very important condition is the cumulene should have even number of double bonds for to be chiral. So this is a cumulene or allene having only two double bonds, two cumulated double bonds. And this cumulene also has got two continuous double bonds. And here you can find four double bonds. So the number of cumulated double bonds should be even. There should be even number of cumulated double bonds for an allene to be chiral. So for an allene to be chiral, two conditions should be fulfilled. One is the groups at the two ends should be different. Number two is there should be even number of cumulated double bonds. So look at this molecule, it has two double bonds, cumulated double bonds, and the two groups at the two ends are also different. So this is chiral. And this molecule also is chiral because it is fulfilling both the conditions. Groups are different, even number of double bonds. And this is also chiral because the groups are at the ends are different. There are four double bonds, cumulated double bonds. So therefore even number of double bonds are present. Therefore this is also chiral. And look at this molecule. This also is chiral because there are two different groups on both the ends and even number of double bonds are there. And here you have four double bonds, cumulated double bonds. So even number of double bonds and groups are different. So all these molecules are fulfilling both the conditions. But look at this molecule. The first condition is okay. The two groups at the terminal carbon atoms are different, but the number of uh, double bonds are odd in number. So whenever you have odd number of double bonds, cumulated double bonds, all the groups at the terminal carbon atoms will come to one plane, and that molecule will have a plane of symmetry. That is why this molecule is optically inactive and achiral. Pyranes are bicyclic or even polycyclic molecules in which we can find one carbon atom being common for two rings. This carbon atom which is common for the two rings is having four single bonds, therefore it is sp3 hybridized. sp3 hybridized carbon should be tetrahedral, and these four bonds should be like these two bonds should be present in one plane, and these two bonds should be present in another plane which is perpendicular to the plane of these two bonds. Therefore, if you are making a ring with these two bonds, here you have a ring, and you are making another ring by using these two bonds. In that case, these two rings will be perpendicular to one another. What I said just now becomes very clear when you look at this sp3 hybridized carbon. So this sp3 hybridized carbon has four single bonds. These two bonds 1 and 2 are in one plane, and these two bonds 3 and 4 are in another plane. If you connect 1 and 2 to make a ring, you will have a ring in the vertical plane. And if you connect this 3 and 4 to make another ring, that will be a plane in the that ring will be present in the horizontal plane. So the ring that you form by connecting 3 and 4 will be perpendicular to the ring that is made by connecting 1 and 2. Therefore, this carbon is now being common for a ring that you are making here and a ring that you are making here. And this carbon is shown here at the center. So this carbon you are having here, it is having these two bonds 1 and 2 here in the vertical plane, and these two bonds are just connected to make a ring, and this ring is present in the vertical plane. And if you are connecting these two bonds 3 and 4 present in this sp3 hybridized carbon, you are getting another ring here. That ring is present in the horizontal plane. So if you look at this structure, this ring and this ring, the vertical ring, horizontal ring, these two are perpendicular to one another. And now this ring, the vertical ring in the vertical plane, has a terminal carbon here, and there are two bonds present here. Since this is also a tetrahedral carbon, when these two bonds are present in vertical plane, these two bonds will go to the horizontal plane. So here at one terminal we have two horizontal bonds, two bonds in the horizontal plane. Now this ring is horizontal, therefore this carbon will have two of its bonds here, the remaining bonds in a vertical plane. The two bonds here are in the horizontal plane, means these two bonds will go to the vertical plane. Therefore, these two terminal bonds are present in vertical plane, and these two terminal bonds are present in horizontal plane. This looks very similar to allenes, where we have replaced the double bonds by rings. You just replace this ring by a double bond and replace this ring also by a double bond, then it will become an allene having horizontal groups at one end vertical groups at the other end. So spirenes are very similar to allenes where the double bonds are replaced by rings, and the rings, continuous rings, are perpendicular to one another. So one ring is horizontal means the next ring will be vertical, will be present in vertical plane. If you have one more ring here, that will be present in the horizontal line, horizontal plane. Therefore, the spirenes are very similar to allenes. The only difference is the double bonds are replaced by rings. Since spirenes are very similar to allenes, the conditions for spirenes to be chiral or optically active are also very similar to that of the allenes. The condition number one is the two terminal carbon atoms of the spirene should have different groups. So here this spirene cannot be chiral because you have two similar groups in one terminal carbon atom. So when you have similar groups at one end, you can see these two groups are present in the vertical plane. Now just you can see the horizontal plane. This horizontal plane will bisect the molecule into two halves. This horizontal plane will contain these two groups, end groups. With respect to this horizontal plane, this A is above and this A is below. Therefore, this molecule has got a plane of symmetry. And similarly, it has one more sigma. Therefore, the molecule is optically inactive or achiral. So, very similar to allenes, the spirenes also should have different groups at the terminal carbon atoms of the spirenes. In this pyrene, we have different groups at the chiral terminal carbon atoms. Hence, this molecule does not have plane of symmetry, and this is chiral. And in addition to the presence of different groups, one condition we have discussed, two conditions we have discussed for allenes. One is different groups at the terminal carbon atoms. Number two is even number of double bonds, even number of cumulated double bonds. So very similar rule is applicable for spirenes also. There should be two different groups at the terminal carbon atoms, and there should be even number of rings, because these rings are replacing the double bonds of allenes. So when there should be even number of double bonds in allenes, in spirenes there should be even number of rings. So that is the condition for a spirene to be chiral or optically active. So the two conditions we applied for allenes are applicable for spirenes. What are the conditions? Condition number one, the terminal carbon atoms should have different groups. Number two, the number of double bonds in allene should be even in number. Similarly, in spirenes, the number of rings should be even in number. Here I have given a spirene, and the groups present in the hydrogens present at the terminal carbon atoms are called terminal hydrogens. These terminal hydrogens should be replaced by different groups. And as in the case of allenes, we need not worry about the sizes of the groups present here, but the groups present here should be different. And the group hydrogens present in the other carbon atoms are called lateral hydrogens. So these are lateral hydrogens and these are terminal hydrogens. Therefore, a spirene to be chiral or optically active, these terminal hydrogens should be replaced by different groups. Maybe need not replace both the hydrogens. One can be hydrogen, the other can be some X. But anyhow, the two groups here should be different, and the two groups should be here present here should be different, and the number of rings should be even in number. Here are some examples for spirenes, and this is a spirene having two different groups at this end. One group is methyl, there is another group that is hydrogen. That the hydrogen is not shown here. and this side also you have a methyl and hydrogen. Since you have two different groups and the number of rings is even in number, this pyrene is chiral. So both the conditions are fulfilled. The groups at the terminal carbon atoms are different and the number of rings is even in number. Just look at this pyrene. There are two different groups at both the ends. The number of rings are even in number. Therefore, this molecule is also chiral. And just look at this molecule. This has odd number of rings. So, since it has odd number of rings, one condition has been violated, and the other condition also is violated since the terminal groups are different. So, once you have odd number of rings, one of the rules is violated, you can say the molecule is not being a chiral spirane, but this molecule is still chiral because of the presence of, not because it is a spirane, chiral spirane, it has a chiral carbon here. So this is the chiral carbon. This carbon is connected to a CH2 here, and here a carbon connected to three carbon atoms. A tertiary carbon is here, and here you have a carbon connected with only two hydrogens, and there is a methyl group, and the fourth group is hydrogen. So due to the presence of this chiral carbon, this molecule is chiral. So just by looking at the number of rings, don't come to a conclusion that it is achiral. You look for the other conditions. So it is not a chiral spirane on the basis of number of rings and on the basis of the groups present at the terminal carbon atoms, but due to the presence of an asymmetric carbon here, a chiral carbon is present here. Therefore, this molecule is chiral. Assigning a configuration for the chiral spiranes is very similar to assigning configuration for biphenyls and allenes. So here the two groups present in the horizontal ring are present in vertical plane, and these two groups present in the vertical ring are in the horizontal plane. So these two groups are in the vertical plane although they are connected to the horizontal ring, and these two groups are present in the horizontal plane although they are connected to the vertical ring. Now we have to assign the configuration by following the same procedure that we use for allenes and biphenyls. Draw the cross lines. Now from which direction you are weaving the molecule? By standing near these vertical groups, the groups present in the vertical plane. So these hydrogen and chlorine, and I am standing next to these hydrogen and chlorine, the vertical groups present in the vertical plane. Therefore, I have to thicken the vertical line. I should put the hydrogen that is at the top here at the head side, chlorine at the bottom at the leg side. So there won't be any confusion in placing the groups in the vertical line. Whether you stand from here or from here, the group should be placed, hydrogen should be at the top, chlorine at the bottom. And we should be very careful only in placing the horizontal groups in the horizontal line. So when we are weaving the molecule by standing here, the hydrogen is going behind the screen, that is our left side. This chlorine is coming in front of the screen, that is our right side when we stand here. So hydrogen at the left, chlorine at the right, I have placed in the horizontal line. Now since I am standing near the vertical groups, I have thickened the vertical line. The groups present in the thick line should be assigned priority numbers first. So chlorine gets higher priority over hydrogen, 1, 2. Then after assigning priority for thick line groups, go to the normal line. And then 3, higher priority for chlorine, then hydrogen, 3, 4. Read the numbers from 1 to 4, 1 to 3. You are going in the clockwise direction, therefore R. Now assign configuration by weaving from here. So vertical line, horizontal line I have drawn. Since I am weaving from here, now in the horizontal line, these are the horizontal groups which I should place in the horizontal line. So when I am standing here to view the molecule from here, this hydrogen is at my right and chlorine is at my left. I am standing here by looking at the screen in this direction. So hydrogen is at my right side, chlorine is at my left side. I have placed them in the horizontal line, hydrogen at my right, chlorine at my left. As usual, in the vertical groups, hydrogen at the top, chlorine at the bottom. Since I am standing near the horizontal groups, horizontal line should be thickened. The groups in the thick line should be assigned priority first. So chlorine 1, hydrogen 2, and then you go for the vertical line, chlorine 3, hydrogen 4. Read the numbers from 1 to 3. You are going in the clockwise direction, therefore this pyrene gets or configuration. So whether you view from here or here, you are getting the same configuration, and you should be very careful in placing the groups in the horizontal line. Therefore, the spirenes to be chiral or optically active, the terminal carbon atoms of the spirenes should have different groups, and the number of rings should be even in number. Thank you for listening to my lecture.